Give me back my son. Who do
Give
you
me back my
think you
son.
are?
Who do you think you are? I am.
The Bucks don't stop here. Ladies and gentlemen, debate amongst friends. Welcome to Friday, TGI Friday for most. Doc and Prof here coming at you live. Doc, we have playoff games as a team that many thought were dead. They said, I ain't dead yet. I ain't dead yet.
I don't know. They look pretty dead. They look pretty dead. Honestly, let's talk about it.
Let's get into this. Let's get straight into this. The Milwaukee Bucks slid by and got that win, like Doc said, to coin a phrase, by the skin of their teeth.
All I can say is, if that's the best they got nothing.
You know, it's really bad, but I actually agree with Doc. This is pretty bad.
Because even that last shot, even the last shot that KD took, he really still could have hit that.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I watched the third quarter pretty attentively, and watching Giannis do the same Euro step over and over and over for the whole third quarter was really rough. And then, of course, the analysts are talking about his free throw shooting, which.
But it was something that's been known. Like, we acting like this is something. Come on.
Honestly, this is my first time ever seeing him shoot it. I've never
seen him. He's not a great free throw shooter.
Outside of a highlight, I mean, actually watching the game and actually watching him go through the process of shooting a free throw.
I've never seen a highlight of him actually shooting a free throw.
Right. They did. They've been, oh my God. But see, now that they're trying to, I guess, discredit him as a superstar.
Yes.
Their highlights, similar to what they did to Shaq. I mean, they did the same thing to Shaq. They've had highlights of Shaq missing free throws, and Giannis is right there on that Shaq missing free throw level, where he's going to be one of those guys that have to switch from their right hand to their left hand to shoot free throws eventually.
I mean, that's possible. And Giannis is a career 71% free throw shooter, regular season, 61%. Yep, 61% career for playoffs. So
it just looks like he thinks too much at the line.
I mean, it's the follow through as well too. I know Coach Nick talked about his shooting form 2 seasons ago, actually, which was a great video. Shout out to B-Ball Breakdown for that analysis. Just talk about how his shooting motion changed drastically.
Oh yeah, big time.
But rookie year, like his rookie year, he had a flowing jump shot, and now it's like kind of.
But you think about it, at that time, he really wasn't a good perimeter scorer at all. No. So I think that the change in the form helped him from the field a little bit, because I saw him take a fadeaway, and I was like, who is this guy? But 14 for 31, 1 for 8, 4 for 9. I mean, he still got, 33 points, 14 rebounds. But again, this was more about stopping or containing KD and Kyrie than it is the Bucks actually winning the game.
And that's the craziest part, because KD and Kyrie didn't have a great shooting night. KD still got 30 on a pretty average shooting night. He only shot 2 for 10 in the first half.
He went 11 for 28. I've seen he had every free throw, inside the free throw line. He could have took the same jumper all night long. It was a little baby elbow jumper.
Yeah.
Mid screen, and he was just picking. He was following that pick and rolling. And I mean, he rose on that thing in the third quarter again. Him and Giannis with Euro at one end. KD would get the pick on the other end and roll to this free throw line jumper. He hit it. I think in the third quarter, when I'm watching it, I think he hit it at least 7 times. Kyrie was hitting some amazing shots. I didn't really see too much from others. I know a lot of people are getting on Bruce Brown for the last possession, or I guess the one before the last possession,
Yeah.
where I mean he really had no choice because the clock's winding down and things are moving. He had to drop to the lane, but yeah, it's not Bruce Brown's fault.
No, I feel
I
like people
think in
just
this
want to make people
situation,
scapegoats because they probably had money on this game.
yeah, and honestly, the fact that the Nets are still in this game
The fact
speaks
that they
volume.
lost by 3 speaks
Yeah, with a
volumes.
chance, with double coverage, like a double team, which KD looked at the rim, but he
Mhm.
didn't look at the rim, and he put it up, and he still had an opportunity to hit the shot. I think the Bucks have to be feeling extremely good that they came away with this win, because I've already said that they're only going to win one at home. So that's probably going to be about it. If that's the best punch that they got nothing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And Doc's already calling it. He has Nets winning the game 4. So,
Throwing the damn towel.
but let's get to our nightcap game. And boy, what a nightcap game!
Before we do that, I want to make
Okay.
sure, because I don't feel like nobody touched on this. I know we didn't talk about it, but Mike Conley's injury,
Yes.
and him missing game 1, and then going and missing game 2 due to the hamstring issue. And I talked about this yesterday. Obviously, I don't know what's going on with the Clippers, but I can see that Donovan Mitchell has taken what those TNT analysts have said, and he is using it as dominating fuel.
He is definitely using it as motivation. I can definitely.
I mean, he's playing really well. He's pretty much saying, "Let me see how Luka does this." Right? How Luka did this to the Clippers. But in his situation, he has more help. He has I'm going to say, I guess, the right Bogdanovich on this side of the coin. Because this game, the Bogdanovich actually worked. I didn't check Atlanta the last game, or I guess it will be tonight.
It'll be
How
tonight.
Bogdanovich does.
Can't believe you said that, folks.
But he also has Rudy Gobert. He has Ingles. He has Clarkson. I think when I was looking at this game,
Mm-hmm.
it was the starting 5.
Yep.
It's still the same way. It's the starting 5, and then it's Jordan Clarkson. No one else scored outside of the top 6 people. So when I look at this, I'm like, what the heck is going on with those Clippers? It's not Paul George. Obviously, he struggled, but he scored 27 points. Kawhi, listen, Kawhi was never deemed a supreme scorer, and maybe people think because he did really well in San Antonio, he did really well in I guess Toronto, that he's become this great scorer. Kawhi is great, but there's something going on with these Clippers that I cannot put my finger on. I don't know what it is.
They play a lot of ISO sets. That's really what the problem is.
And I'm thinking it goes back to Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, like they play a lot of ISO sets. Now, I agree about Kawhi. He's not a huge volume scorer, but he's a very efficient scorer.
He can put the ball in the basket.
Yes, he's very efficient. And I've been saying that. But the problem is a lot of their sets are primarily ISO. ISO into a kick out if they can't get a shot. And that's not going to help them.
Yeah, and I think at this particular junction, I don't know. I mean, Reggie Jackson, since we mentioned him a game or two ago, he's been balling.
Yeah.
Here's a guy not playing on a huge contract, probably going to get paid next year. And I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, I don't know what else is happening. They keep swapping out Patrick Beverley for Rondo for Patrick Beverley. But I'm not sure. You got Yogi Ferrell down there. You got some really talented players.
Mm-hmm.
Again, get Luke Kennard. You paid Luke Kennard all that money. Get him in the game. I know we talked.
He only got 3 points.
we talked about Batum and his lack of production. It's like he's the guy that you might need to sit down.
That's exactly what I said at the start of the Maverick series. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
it's like
exactly what I said.
it's time to sit that guy down. It's time. I mean, I don't know what else to really say on that one, but they kicked the tires long enough. 27 minutes, 7 points, 3 rebounds. I mean, he shot 50% from the field. He made 2 threes out of 3. He made 1 free throw out of 2. It's just not working. It's just not working. It might be time to kick the tires on somebody else because 27 minutes is not where I'm even thinking, hey, I know it didn't work in Houston, but you might have to just throw Boogie out there.
That's what you did there.
I'm just saying. But
Boogie played.
I don't
He
think
had
this.
11 minutes, only 6 points.
Yeah,
He was actually more efficient than Batum out there.
more efficient than Batum
As
out
far
there.
as scoring wise, but
Right.
Batum obviously contributed in other areas.
But
like
yeah, I mean,
defense.
-2. But you think about it. I mean, 4 rebounds to 3. He had 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block, but that's also, 16 and a half more minutes. So, not saying that Boogie would have helped any. I mean, he might have got his cheeks clapped out there by the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. But get Luke Kennard out there, man. He's a Dookie. You know I ride with Dookies, man. Get him out there, man.
I mean, maybe it's a matter of time to actually keep Zubac in the game for a little bit longer too.
I like Zubac too.
Maybe they keep hooking him out of the game too soon.
Yeah, and I like Zubac. I think I always thought Zubac was a great player. I thought the Lakers were fools for letting him, or I guess including him in that trade or letting him go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is at this point.
At this point, yeah.
But I don't think the Clippers are done. It stinks because
it's not done, and I feel like people like to, oh my gosh, the series is over after like the first game kind of thing. Like there's a 7-game series. We've seen plenty of teams come back from 2-0. In fact, these Clippers just came back from 2-0.
Right. And I don't expect Kawhi to give up. That's the one thing I will say. I don't expect Kawhi to give up. I think I will say that there will be some soul searching to be done in these next couple of games. Unlike what happened in Denver, I don't want to hear, "Hey guys, we need to step it up," and then somebody scores 6 points. We're not having that. Yeah, we're not having that. But it's really got to be somebody else. It can't be anybody named Reggie, Paul, or Kawhi. It's going to have to be Marcus Morris. It might have to be Zubac. Nicholas Batum has got to, as they would say, ish or get off the pot here.
I'll say this, and we'll get to tonight's games. I'll say this: if Batum's not earning these minutes on the floor, take him off.
Take him out.
Take him out.
And that's going to come down to Tyronn Lue.
Yep. But let's get to tonight's games. We have
2
games. Doc mentioned the first one. Game 3 at the Highlight Factory in the ATL as the Atlanta Hawks. You like that, didn't you?
No, that was
host the Philadelphia 76ers. Doc, who you got?
Well, it depends on if the Hawks, are affected by the Julio Jones trade. Maybe this is a going away party for Julio. I mean, maybe Julio's in the house and they're like, "My dog Julio," but I digress. Well, the last game, it was funny because I don't know if you saw, but Philadelphia had the game out there. Triple H pumping them up before the game, which I thought was hilarious.
It was hilarious to see old man Triple H sitting there doing crotch chops
in public. In an arena outside of the squared circle. It was pretty crazy. Yes. But it fired and beat up enough for him to go out and have a great game. I expect Philly to win. I think they have the ticket. I think Ben Simmons, from what I've seen, him playing against Trae Young, he's got to get other people involved. And that goes to show how much better Ben Simmons' defense has gotten. So I'll give him credit there. I guess it's just going to depend on really on the bigs of Atlanta. It's going to depend on Capella. It's going to depend on Collins. Um, they lost. Wow, they lost Hunter for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt, and I think
The
that's one of the reasons why I'm also gonna stick with the from the 76ers. I do believe the Hawks will probably either win. They'll win a game heading from this homestand though, because Trae Young is just that guy, and it's hard to bet against him.
I'm gonna slightly bet against them only because I mean they're putting a lot of pressure on him. So he's really got to become a facilitator. He's really got to come out and make everybody around him better. Last game, the stat numbers were really good for Herder and Gallinari. Gallinari had 21. Herder had 20. Obviously, Trae Young had 21. But what's really going to come down to is Capella, that 10 and 8, probably not enough. And John Collins, 8 and 10, not enough. Now, granted, they both have foul troubles, but that's what it's going to come down to.
Absolutely.
Those two guys getting it together. And now without Hunter, who probably plays that 3-4, hybrid role and is a really, really good defender out of, I believe it was Virginia. And I just think it's going to really come down to those two guys and their ability. Yeah, he did go to Virginia, and their ability to play against Embiid. That's what it's going to come down to. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I think Philadelphia probably sweeps them at home.
Fair enough. And then our nightcap, we have Game 3. The Nuggets host the team that got the glow, according to Doc yesterday. The Phoenix Suns. Doc, does the Suns make this a 3-0 series?
I believe so. I think that the Nuggets won't be as cold as the Rockies this game, but I don't know. Chris Paul's playing really, really well. I feel like the Suns carried that momentum from last year, and it's showing. They know that this is like it's not. I wouldn't say it's a small window, but the window is very narrow, and they have to take advantage of this particular run while the hamstring is intact.
I will say this: if the Nuggets cannot have an efficient game from Michael Porter Jr. And I believe they just got back. Was it Will Barton?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if they can't get any kind of consistent scoring between the two of them, yeah, I'm going to stick with the Sun 3-0. They may actually sweep them. They may
That's
actually
so crazy.
That is so crazy. The Suns are having a special season.
No, it's a big time run, and they just have to stick with it, and hopefully they can really
capitalize.
Just keep working. Yeah, just keep working. Right. But it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on without question.
Absolutely.
But before we go, I did want to highlight some of these things. I saw some injuries. Chicago Bulls young point guard Kobe White will be out at least until the later stages of training camp. He's undergoing surgery to repair a left shoulder injury he suffered over this week. And then Pascal Siakam is out for 5 months with a torn labrum in his left shoulder as well. So definitely wish those guys a speedy recovery. I don't know if that's going to affect them in the off season, whether they'll be moved, especially Siakam. I know he had some issues this season, but we shall see. But like every day, I know you found this podcast on your favorite podcast platform because we're on all of them. But if you did have any troubles finding this episode or any of our past episodes, you can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com, where you'll find this episode as well as all of our others. Be sure to tune in on Monday as well as all other days, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m., where we'll be covering your latest news your analysis, and the read.